Okay, let's get down to it. Captain America Civil War. Let's talk. Now, I went to see it last night. I was very fortunate to see the first showing at Cineworld in Middlesbrough. I saw it as part of the Captain America triple bill. Now, full disclosure here before we start. I, before last night, I had not seen any of the Captain America installments. I know, it's ridiculous. And now I'm going to talk about it. So, last night, I got hit in the face with a whole ton of Captain America, and it was amazing. Yeah, this was really good. And by the way, I was really looking for, in addition to seeing Civil War, I was really looking forward to seeing The Winter Soldier because I'd heard so many good things said about that movie. And you know what? Absolutely, The Winter Soldier was a fantastic movie. But Civil War, this is where it's at, man. This was amazing. This was, I mean, everyone in the theatre, of course, they couldn't show it until midnight. So many people were knackered going into this. But as soon as this got started, oh man, by the end of the film as well, everyone in that theatre felt rejuvenated. The amount of people saying, well, after that I don't feel tired anymore. Yeah, this film, oh, yeah, the pacing to this, just to get started on it, the pacing through this film, absolutely brilliant. This is really good because, of course, yeah, the story is exactly as it says in the trailer. You know, the government wanting to impose, restrictions on what the Avengers can and can't do. You know, holding the Avengers to account, making them accountable to a higher authority. And of course, the going down the route of, these guys bringing in the Avengers to solve the problem. You know, this should be kept as a last resort. It shouldn't be our go-to mechanism. You know, so like really gonna restrict their realm of authority, I guess you could say. You know, their ambit, and of course, you know, the dividing lines start straight away. You know, you have Tony Stark and you have Steve Rogers, and they're both, on completely opposing sides. And again, people have said, the Collider team, John Campion and Christian Harloff and co, who've seen the film, they made a very good point saying, as you watch this film, you'll realise it's so difficult to pick a side because, both Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, their points of view, it's really, really well done. You can see where each party's coming from because Tony Stark, early on in the film, he runs into this woman who turns out to be the mother of one of the people who were killed in the incident over in Sokovia. Young lad out there and just got killed. Collateral damage. It seems to be something it seems to be the trend this year. You take this movie and you take Batman versus Superman, addressing the collateral damage that occurs when superheroes battle. But again, so this is really what triggers it for Tony Stark. It really hits home after having that one-on-one with that boy's mother. It really knocks the hell out of him. You can see it in his eyes straight away. And then, of course, when they're contacted by the Secretary of State, and he presents them with this draft of these quote-unquote peace accords, the Vienna peace accords that are being put forward by the United Nations, instantly, Tony's all for it. You know, you have that line in the trailer, we need to be put in check. And obviously Don Cheadle, War Machine, very much agrees with him, of course. But even from the moment Steve Rogers hears about these peace accords, you know, he doesn't like this. You know, we're in the position where we can do what's right. You know, we have the ability to keep people safe, you know, and take on any danger, and we can't afford to have that power restricted, you know. So you can understand where Steve Rogers is coming from. I think that line's in the trailer, you know, the words to the effect of we're still best placed to govern our use of power, you know. So it's so difficult, and people have said, you know, they've even watching the film, they've drifted back and forth. You know, 1 minute they're siding with Tony Stark, next minute they're siding with Steve Rogers. But it's really, really one big grey area. But of course, so that's how things start, and then of course you have Bucky, the Winter Soldier again. The authorities are after him, and then, as you see in the trailer, Steve Rogers gets to him first, you know, and helps him to escape. So becomes a fugitive himself in the process. So this is just really, really just exacerbating things. You know, things are just getting worse. Yeah, you know, things are just getting made worse all the time, and then of course it just builds up to this civil war. You know, there's no other word, there's no other phrase for it. It is civil war. Friendships are broken in this. It's devastating, and people, and again the Collider team said, don't make the mistake of thinking that there's no stakes in this. The stakes are high, and it's not a case of we're just blowing off some steam. We'll all still be friends after this. No. There's some really, really heavy damage done here. You know, really deep wounds that are going to take a long time to heal. But leads me on to another point, of course, fantastic pacing, but the writing in this, like I say, the way they've presented both sides of the argument, you know, we need to be put in check. If we can't accept limitations, we're no better than the bad guys. But that's all well and good, Tony Stark, but what about when the time comes when we've got a major emergency and we don't have time to hang around to get the green light, you know, to get signed off on, to get the authority from the powers that be. You know, if we need to go into action and stop something there and then at a moment's notice, we need to be able to do so. We shouldn't be hanging around waiting for a telephone call to give us the go-ahead. It's so, you can understand where both sides are coming from, and the way, of course, they represent the collateral damage, the way that they highlight that from the previous missions that the Avengers have been on. You know, you can understand, well, yeah, it's only natural that these peace accords should have been drawn up. So really, really good build up to this movie, and the background is so well done. So this isn't just there's some really genuinely great writing here, and one element of that I thought, which, you know, really showed how good the writing was here. I had a difficult time. I still haven't been able to. I couldn't decide who my favourite character was. In fact, I couldn't pick a favourite character in that movie because they were all so brilliantly done. And of course, that's a combination of good writing, great performances, and great direction by the Russo brothers. Everyone involved. My God. Let's talk about Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, because of course he's been in this franchise for almost 10 years. Long time. But, it's fair to say he is the backbone of of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. His film, Iron Man, that's the one that started it all. But at no point do you ever get the sense that he's just you never get the sense that he's just doing it for the paycheck. After all these years, he's still giving his A game in this. And everyone involved is, but you would have thought, after doing it for so long, is Downey getting to the point where he's just coming back and doing it for the paycheck? No, absolutely not. You can tell he loves this character and he genuinely wants to be there. And he really is absolutely fantastic in this film. Really, really good. There's a scene... Getting close, I'm walking a fine line here in terms of spoiler territory. This isn't a spoiler, but like I say, it depends on how far I go with it, so I won't go too far. But there's a scene at the back end of the film where Tony Stark finally finds out what happened to his parents, in full detail. He comes across a video recording that shows his parents' death, the death of his parents. So he sees what happened to them in graphic detail and who did it, and the way Robert Downey Jr. plays that scene. My God, when you watch that scene, right, you'll know it when it happens, of course. Just keep a look at watch Robert Downey Jr.'s eyes. He's really, really good in this. And he's so brilliant to watch, and it's so refreshing to just see that he's got such love for the franchise, even after almost 10 years. Still maximum effort. But yeah, that scene in particular, one of my favourite scenes in the film, and one of the most impactful scenes. It's one of those scenes you watch it and you go, oh, Jesus Christ. Robert, Stark's gonna go off when he watches that video. Robert Downey Jr.'s acting in that scene, maybe Oscar worthy, and I'm not just saying that genuinely. This film, I think, is Oscar worthy. In a couple of different categories, acting, writing, directing, of course, cinematography and visual effects. Cinematography in this was awesome. The action sequences, of course, a lot of hand-to-hand stuff in this. Absolutely fantastic hand-to-hand combat. And a lot of stunning chase sequences. You see shots in the trailer, you've got Panther. Oh, Black Panther, man. You see a shot in that trailer, you've got Captain America chasing Black Panther, who's chasing the Winter Soldier. The camera work in that, and there's some scenes, where they're jumping from building to building. The camera work in this is stunning. You get an adrenaline rush watching this. You really do. And some fantastic tracking shots. And the way they keep up with everything. And, later on in the film, you'll probably heard the airport scene. My God. Battle for the, it's as if the fate of the universe is on the line. But a lot of free flowing camera elements. One thing I said about The Force Awakens, the air combat between those two TIE fighters and the Millennium Falcon on Jakku, the way they just flung the camera around, the free flowing camera, absolutely brilliant, and much the same Very similar in this film, this film, Civil War. The action sequences in these are filmed so brilliantly. Oh, Jesus Christ, this film was so good. I mean, I was going in there. You've got to appreciate, I'm not a comic book guy, so obviously I didn't know what the Civil War storyline was, in terms of the comics. So I went into this completely cold, not knowing what to expect. And I was completely blown away by this. And this is just leads to something that a comment that a lot of people have made, and it's a really, really valid one. And it's the point of, you got to be careful now, because it's so, since people know so much about like the big films that are being made, because of social media, like regular updates constantly and stuff, movie related shows on YouTube, like the Collider Movie News show, the Daily Show. You know, updates every day, and obviously, thanks to social media as well, you can stay up to date with the making of so many films, and you can know so much about it and hear so many details. And of course, the amount of TV spots and trailers a lot of films have. Batman vs Superman was a prime example. The amount of stuff they gave away in the trailers and TV spots. You know so much going into it, but then it gets to the point where you start forming your own expectations of what you want to go down in the film, and it can be so damaging to a film, because you start going in there with something you want to see, and when that film doesn't do what you want to see, you can really be turned off by that. I mean, a prime example for me might have been the Battle of the Five Armies, the last installment of The Hobbit. I went in there with an expectation that I wanted, particularly in relation to all the Dol Guldur storyline. I wanted to see Saruman throw down with Sauron, because you see that shot in the trailer, leave Sauron to me, that big teaser, and that didn't happen, and that really, really annoyed me. But it was my own fault, because at no point was it ever stated that we were going to get that. I formed my own expectation, that I wanted to see, and of course, when the film didn't deliver, it really ruined it for me. So there's a real danger of going in there. I mean, you can be excited for film, of course, and there can be things you'd like to see in there, but you've got to be careful not to base everything on these particular expectations that you have. And it is easier said than done, especially now. Like one thing in the new Star Wars film, hoping that Snoke would turn out to be Darth Plagueis. It doesn't look as though that's how it's going to be now. But I've got to be careful, don't let that ruin it for you, because they've got obviously Lucasfilm have got a storyline planned out very carefully, so I've got to make sure that Snoke not being Darth Plagueis doesn't ruin this new trilogy for me. And that was one of the real blessings here with this Captain America Civil War movie, because I went in cold, completely neutral, so I was able to just enjoy everything for what it was. Like I went in there and I walked out of there completely satisfied. I didn't feel underwhelmed in the list. I felt that it was a really fulfilling movie experience. This really, really was. Thanks in a lot of part to that airport fight scene alone. But yeah, so and It's something I'm being very careful for the new X-Men as well, X-Men Apocalypse, because I've stayed very cold on this as well. I'm gonna go in there neutral again, so I don't have any expectations, things that I want to see. You know, so nothing that could nothing that could potentially leave me disappointed with that movie going experience. So yeah, it was such a fulfilling movie experience. This, all the characters were so fantastically well done. Um, you know, really good story, really fantastic action sequences. Gets dark in a lot of parts. Like I was saying earlier, that scene where Tony finds out what happens to his mum and dad. My God, that was absolutely heartbreaking. And so well acted by Robert Downey Jr. And then, but at the same time, yes, it gets dark as all hell, and it gets really vicious, you know, in terms of the fight sequences. But then, on the opposite side of the coin, there's parts of this film where the humour in this is so funny. This movie's got some really great humour in it. Yeah, and again, it comes back to really great writing. Yeah, like you say, when Ant-Man shows up, Paul Rudd, he is having the time of his life playing this character. He's really an absolute blast in this. And like I say, Falcon, the interaction between Falcon and the Winter Soldier in parts, really, really fun. And then of course, oh my God, right, Tom Holland. Let's talk about Tom Holland as not the director of Fright Night. Don't make that mistake. This is Tom Holland from The Impossible. This guy, Tom Holland, as Spider-Man, he was really good. And it's like I say, it's nice. It's so nice that we're getting a younger Spider-Man. Of course, I'm telling a lot of people something they already know. And those guys might turn around and say it's not about being nice to have a younger actor. It's about, you know, getting an actor that's close to the age that the character's supposed to be. But this guy, Tom Holland, he was really good. Of course, you know, used sparingly. He's only in a couple of scenes in the film, but used sparingly, but to really great effect. And even though he's used sparingly, if one of your principal reasons for going to see this movie was for Spider-Man, I don't think you'd be disappointed at all. I think you'd be completely satisfied with the amount of Spider-Man we get in this. Yeah, because like I say, we get to see him both as Peter Parker and as Spider-Man, so that was really good. We get to see both aspects of the character, and yeah, he gets to throw down in this film, as you've seen in the TV spots. He has a lot of action in this. Yeah, he's thrown down with Falk. Should I get into this? Well, you see it in the TV spot, yeah. He gets into a 2-on-1 handicap match with Bucky and Falcon, and he holds his own. So, yeah, he has run-ins with all of Team Cap in this film. Yeah, he throws down with each one, if I remember rightly. And it's brilliant to see. And like I say, great humour from Tom Holland. Really, really good. Like you see in the trailer, his introductory shot, you know, after he nabs Cap's shield, lands, hey everyone. Obviously, they've readjusted the dialogue, because as soon as he lands, he starts engaging in a conversation with Captain America, and then Tony says, alright, we're not here to start a conversation. And as Tony's shouting him down, you know, Tom Holland just starts blabbering on, and then you just overhear him say, "Hey, everyone." So the way Tom Holland captures that like awkward teen, you know, just trying to fit in, trying to be cool. It's just really, really good. So yeah, Tom Holland as Spider-Man in this, absolute joy to watch. Oh my god, this film, absolutely fantastic, and of course the way they set up for what's to come, like Infinity War. Ho ho, I can't wait. And the way, of course, setting up for the standalone Spider-Man movie, brilliant. Make sure you stay till after the credits, I might add, for Spider-Man. And of course, you know, it's that set up. We have a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene. So when the credits start to roll, don't go anywhere. Yeah. So the way they set up for what's gonna happen next, really good. And Panther as well. Black Panther in this, really great, and the way they've set up for his standalone film as well. Oh, tune in for that, because that's going to be something. That's going to be something spectacular, I'm telling you. Really, really good. Chadwick Boseman, I think the actor's name, absolutely fantastic. Really, really great character, great performance. You know. Yeah, he's gonna be great in his standalone film. I'm not sure who's coming back for Infinity War. Maybe they all are. Like I say, I don't know. I'm the least qualified person to talk about this. Like I say, 48 hours ago, I'd never seen a Captain America movie before. So now you've got me trying to explain to you guys who probably know so much more about this universe than I do. Me trying to sound as though I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next. um, but yeah, so I've got to wrap this up. Fantastic film, really genuinely is. Oh, Martin Freeman. Martin Freeman only got a small part in this, but really, really good in what he does. It was really nice to see him show up in the film as well. Uh, just to go off point yet again, um, Marvel they've done a fantastic job of recruiting. You know, the ensemble they've put together over the course of the whole cinematic universe. Like in this movie alone, obviously Martin Freeman, William Hurt, who's almost unrecognisable in this. You know, bringing in like older actors like William Hurt, of course, in Captain America 2, Robert Redford, Jenny Agutter. Jesus Christ, when Jenny Agutter showed up. And then, of course, Ant-Man, Mike Douglas, Thor, Anthony Hopkins. You know, all these different guys that Marvel are bringing in. It's fantastic. Of course, you don't need to legitimize comic book movies anymore. They are, they are the top. They're at the top of the mountain now, you know. But what a way to legitimize your universe, bringing the likes of Tony Hopkins and Mike Douglas and Robert Redford in. Really, really good. And then, of course, adding William Hurt in this one. Just brilliant, brilliant casting throughout. Oh, of course, in the first Captain America, Hugo Weaving and Tommy Lee Jones. You know, it's absolutely fantastic, and I think Marvel. If you want an example of like planning to perfection, this Marvel Cinematic Universe is just. It's a masterclass in how to plan your own cinematic universe. Like they pretty much wrote the book on how to create a cinematic universe. Absolutely fantastic. Like I say, this film, I'll be getting it on Blu-ray when it comes out. I think I'll probably end up going to see this again in the theatre because, like I say, it's been only 24 hours. less than. And already I want to see this again. This was just such a fun experience. Like I say, genuinely, this might be a favourite of mine. This may get my #1 vote for movie of the year for this year. It's definitely going to be in my top 5, I think. But yeah, this was good. I mean, like I say, this may, in time, after I've rewatched it, this might be in my favourite movies. You know, this might be genuinely one of my favourite movies. Period. I mean, I was watching it last night. I was thinking, I was really enjoying it, and that, like, the levels of enjoyment I was getting from it, like, we're talking about Die Hard with a Vengeance levels of enjoyment. And I say Die Hard with a Vengeance is one of those films that I can just watch over and over and over again. Like, the rewatchability value of Die Hard with a Vengeance for me. And this, I was getting the same vibes from this movie, Civil War. You know, like, this is up there for me, I think. Obviously, I'll have to watch it again, but yeah, from a first viewing, this might be up there with Die Hard with a Vengeance and the first Kill Bill movie as well. Like, this is really something special, I think. So, that pretty much brings this to a close. Do I recommend it? Hell yeah, I do. Do you need my recommendation? Probably not, but it's there if you'd like it. Yeah. And like I said, hey, this movie, I don't think it needs my recommendation. This movie's probably gonna pay. I think it's safe to say this movie's gonna make $1 billion. Probably make 2. Wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, getting a lot of good word of mouth from a lot of other reviewers, and let me tell you, genuinely, I think it deserves every good thing. All the good word of mouth it's getting deserves it 100%. Like I said, I had such a fun time with this film. Really, really good. And I can't recommend this movie enough. So, yeah, that brings this to a close. Like I say, this is, for me, I think it's going to be up there with Die Hard with a Vengeance and the first Kill Bill movie. And coming from me, that's really high honours. So yeah, absolutely blown away by this movie, and I can't wait to see it again, and can't wait to get it on Blu-ray so I can watch it as many times as I want at home. Probably in a marathon along with Kill Bill Volume 1 and Die Hard with a Vengeance. That'll be a good triple bill. So that wraps this up. And on a personal note, sorry, I've got to say this, it was nice. Tom Holland looks great in spandex. So I can't wait to see his solo Spider-Man movie. Hopefully we'll see shirtless Tom Holland at some point. Yeah. But again, before I gush too much, yeah, highly recommend this. Can't say enough good things about it. Watch for the airport scene, and watch for that scene where Tony finds out what happens to his mum and dad. Two of the highlights of the film, but there's so much more as well. And as other people have been pointed out, what you see in the trailer, that's just a tip of the iceberg. There is so much more in this film. There's so much more gold in this movie. So go see it. That pretty much brings us to a close. That's how I'll end it. Go see it. Thanks for sticking with me. If you've seen it already, I hope you agree with some of the points that I've made. I don't think anyone needs my recommendation, but if this review's been helpful to you at all, then I'm really, really pleased. And if you do decide to go see it, I hope that you enjoy it, but I know that you will. So thanks for sticking with me, guys. Sorry this review's been a bit of a jumbled mess. It's my style. But thanks for sticking with me, and I shall see you all next time. Thanks everyone, and have fun with it. See you later, guys.